I'm Benjamin Henry, one of the tech transfer specialists representing the southeast portion of the United States, which is pretty much the mid-Atlantic, West Virginia, Virginia, all the way down through Arkansas, with the exception of Louisiana. So I have 32 medical centers within my region, but research being done only at 25 of those. It's kind of important to include those other medical centers because we still occasionally hear from a few of those that do not receive VHA research dollars, but we still have to take them through the tech transfer process. Number of invention disclosures vary from year to year, so we're looking at FY17, there was 135, and then a drop off to 77 and 18. These are the number of academic affiliates. So on the left-hand side, there's a pretty long list there. Those we do have dual appointees, but we're not sure yet how much activity that they're conducting with VA research, but they're still showing up on the list. To the right, from VCU on up, they're currently under a contractual obligation with the VA. Those below are not, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so the number of old cooperative technology transfer agreements that we have in place, or the technology administration agreements. We have one with Duke University. The Duke University CTA is going to stay in place because it's not adversarial to VA. We're okay with the terms within it. That was recently negotiated in 2012. And the one that's currently in place with the Medical University of South Carolina, that one's due to terminate in early 2019. And so we're still trying to work through the negotiation of a new agreement to replace that. We've terminated 4 over the past year or so. UAMS, Little Rock, USF, and University of Miami, and of course the MUSC one there. And so, and there haven't been too much reporting from the affiliates on their annual report obligation. So this year we're looking at 5 so far. The number of IMAs that we have in place, 8. The University of San Sebastian, we have a WOC out of Bay Pines, Florida, who still has lab space, but she spends half of the year down in Chile, and so we have joint IP owned with them. And the university actually pushed for some kind of joint IP agreement. We're actually taking the lead in commercializing her inventions. Potential new affiliates, and this is based off activity that we're seeing, obviously Emory and Atlanta, but Nova Southeastern down in Fort Lauderdale area, as well as University of Central Florida. So when Orlando picks up their research assurance again, we should see some more activity out there. Okay, so the number of inventions evaluated, I did 58 this year. Looking at about a day, I try to turn these out pretty quickly, within 24 hours or so. And that's a summary of the patents. We executed 1 exclusive license agreement with Myogen Pharma, small biotech out of Cambridge, for a new use of an existing compound to do with patients with HIV and neurological disorders. Number of site visits over the year. The number of CRADAs and CDAs completed, 17 CRADAs, 7 CDAs. All right, so I also represented the VA at the autumn meeting, participated in the cartilage repair seminar, BLR&D out in Memphis, Tennessee, and co-marketed some technologies with some of my colleagues at the PVA Summit in Dallas. Big no-go here, no professional development done in FY18, so I made that a priority for this upcoming year and actually just completed some with the LES conference in Boston. All right, so using the same method that Dr. Silver's used, I have some issues with a couple of places highlighted in red. And some of this is a bit of a concern because we no longer have an agreement with Little Rock. So I'm going to put a strategy in place of how we're going to alleviate some of that risk later. As well as with UAB and Augusta, Georgia, seem to be falling behind as well. So other than that, kind of look good across the board.